Think Roman philosophers were just toga dudes mumbling in columns and stroking imaginary beards? Think again. One reimagined Plato with mystical vibes. Another asked if evil was just the absence of good. A third wrote his most famous work while waiting to be executed. One taught virtue in exile, and one used Roman rhetoric to defend Christian faith with Cicero-level flair. From Neoplatonism to theology, prisons to palaces, this is part 2 of Every Roman Philosopher Explained. And trust me, it only gets deeper from here. Step into the mind of Plotinus, born and raised in Roman Egypt, around 204 or 5 to 270 AD, the mystical brain behind Neoplatonism. Plotinus believed everything starts from the One, an ultimate, perfect source beyond words or thought. Think of it like the sun. It doesn't think or act, it just is, and everything else radiates from it. His method? Inner contemplation. Plotinus wasn't about arguing in the forums. He urged you to turn inward. To him, philosophy wasn't a job, but a way to return your soul back to its divine source. Rooted in Platonism, Plotinus expanded the tradition with a deep dive into metaphysics and mysticism, bridging reason with transcendence. Main ideas? 1. The One, pure unity, beyond being, beyond knowing. 2. Emanation, everything flows from the One. First the divine mind, nous, then the world soul, then us. 3. The return, life's purpose is not political power or pleasure, but reunification with the One through virtue, self-discipline, and deep reflection. His masterpiece, the Enneads, compiled by his student Porphyry, filled with insights on ethics, beauty, the soul, and metaphysics. Want a simple example? Imagine your mind as a lake. Plotinus says, still the water and the reflection of the One becomes clear. Distracted by ripples, desire, ego, noise, you lose the truth. In short, Plotinus blended Platonism, metaphysics, and mysticism. He didn't just think philosophy was about truth, he thought it could save your soul. Step into the mind of Saint Augustine of Hippo, born in Roman North Africa in the year 354 and passing in 430. A philosopher, bishop, and theologian, Saint Augustine shaped the foundations of both Christian doctrine and Western thought. His big idea? That truth begins with faith and grows through reason, and that the deepest human longing is for eternal connection with God. His method? Introspection and synthesis. In Confessions, he used personal experience to explore big philosophical themes: time, memory, free will, and the nature of the soul. His core interests included epistemology and metaphysics. St. Augustine believed that divine illumination allows us to know truth. Our minds must be lit by God to see clearly. Christian anthropology. He explored the nature of the human being, body and soul, free yet fallen. Biblical criticism and theology. He read scripture allegorically and emphasized God's grace and providence. Ethics and theodicy. He famously argued that evil isn't a force, but a lack of good, like a shadow is the absence of light. Pedagogy and philosophy of religion. St. Augustine saw education as a journey of the soul, from ignorance to wisdom through love. Notable works: Confessions, The City of God, on the Trinity, and on free choice of the will. Notable ideas: original sin, divine grace, just war theory, and the concept of time as a psychological experience, not a ticking clock. A simple example: think of doing something wrong, even when you know better. St. Augustine says that inner conflict is proof of the soul's struggle between desire and reason. Let's take a quick look at some of St. Augustine's most influential ideas, each one leaving a mark on philosophy, theology, and Western thought. In short, St. Augustine merged Roman intellect with Christian faith, arguing that the heart is restless until it rests in truth. Enter the world of Boethius, born in late 5th century Rome and executed in 524 AD. A philosopher, statesman, and bridge between the ancient world and the medieval mind, he's best known for writing one of the most influential philosophical books of the Middle Ages, From a Prison Cell. His big idea? That even when fate seems cruel and fortune turns against us, philosophy offers inner freedom and maybe a path to divine wisdom. His method? Rational dialogue with personified philosophy. In The Consolation of Philosophy, Boethius, awaiting execution, holds a conversation with Lady Philosophy, who reminds him that external success is fleeting, but virtue and wisdom are eternal. His core interests included Fate and providence. He introduced the famous Wheel of Fortune. One moment you're on top, the next you're spinning downward. But above the wheel, divine reason, steady and unchanging. Epistemology and theology. Boethius explored how humans can know anything at all, and how God, being outside of time, sees all things in a single eternal moment. Music and mathematics. He was part of the quadrivium, a 4-part curriculum combining arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. For Boethius, math revealed divine order. Logic and language. He preserved and translated works by Aristotle and Porphyry, reviving classical logic and shaping medieval education. Concepts like the Porphyrian tree, square of opposition, and problem of universals all came through him. Let's take a quick look at some of Boethius's most influential ideas. Wheel of Fortune. Fate is always turning. Principle of individuation. What makes you you in a sea of souls. Recovery of Aristotle. He passed down Greek logic to a new Christian world. Medieval syllogism and dialectic. Sharpening arguments with structure. Mode, music, linking harmony in music to harmony in the cosmos. Want a simple example? Imagine losing your job, status, or comfort. Boethius says, don't blame fortune. It's always been unstable. What matters is whether your inner self remains calm and wise. In short, Boethius taught that while fortune may turn, reason and virtue are our anchors, and philosophy is the friend that visits us in prison. Step into the life of Gaius Musonius Rufus, born in Volsinii, Etruria, around 30 AD, and remembered as one of the most practical voices of Roman Stoicism. Known as the Roman Socrates, he believed philosophy wasn't about theories, it was about how you live your daily life. He died around 101 AD. His big idea? Virtue is not just the highest good, it's the only good, and both men and women are equally capable of it. His method? Direct teaching and simple living. Musonius didn't write treatises. Instead, we know his views through notes, lectures, and conversations recorded by his students. He taught publicly, sometimes even while in exile, arguing that hardship builds character. His core interests included ethics and daily practice. Philosophy should guide how you eat, dress, marry, and work. True strength isn't in arguments, it's in action. Gender and equality. He insisted that women deserve philosophical education too. Virtue is for everyone, not just elite Roman men. Discipline and simplicity. He promoted vegetarianism, modesty, and resilience, arguing that luxury weakens the soul. Notable works? While no books survive in full, lectures and sayings compiled by students offer rich insight into his teachings. Notable ideas? Philosophy as training for life, equality and virtue, living in harmony with nature, and enduring hardship with grace. Want a simple example? Imagine being mocked for your beliefs. Musonius would say, let them laugh, your calm response is already a lesson in virtue. In short, Gaius Musonius Rufus believed that philosophy isn't something you study, it's something you become. Wisdom to him wasn't just spoken, it was lived. Enter the world of Lactantius, born around 245 AD in Roman North Africa and died in 325. A Christian apologist, rhetorician, and philosopher, Lactantius is often called the Christian Cicero for his eloquent defense of faith in a time of persecution and change. His big idea? That Christianity isn't just true, it's also reasonable, moral, and beautifully rational. His method? Classical rhetoric for a Christian message. Educated in Latin literature and Roman philosophy, Lactantius used polished, persuasive writing to explain Christian doctrine to skeptics, especially the Roman elite. His core interests included theology and ethics. He argued that belief in the one true God leads to justice, virtue, and social harmony, unlike pagan religions, which he saw as superstitious. Philosophy of religion. He built a rational case for Christian monotheism, divine providence, and the immortality of the soul. Critique of paganism and Stoicism. He challenged fatalism, arguing that human free will and divine justice are essential to moral life. Notable work? Divine Institutes, one of the earliest systematic presentations of Christian theology in Latin, aimed at defending Christianity using Roman logic and style. Notable ideas? Justice, grounded in divine law, the compatibility of reason and faith, the rejection of deterministic fate, and the moral critique of idolatry. Want a simple example? Imagine people saying gods reward cruelty and conquest. Lactantius replies, if a god isn't just, he isn't worthy of worship. True divinity must reflect truth and goodness. In short, Lactantius fused classical rhetoric with Christian faith, arguing that philosophy and theology should walk hand in hand in service of truth.